attention spent in various ways. And I do think those are two slightly different things. You know, how much time do you spend on something, and how much attention do you pay to something? That's like the bottom level of the economy, really. And then other things are built on top of that, but particularly on the internet. Or yes, a science Twitter account that's taking other people's stuff. You can measure the amount of human time and attention that they have acquired for themselves.
Do you have any other thoughts hearing any of that exchange? Were you struck by anything? This interaction with a real life freebooter?
I mean, not really. It sounds so very similar to the same things that I get from myself every time you try to track someone down, which is why I don't really think that it was, as you were saying before, naivete. I just think it's a situation where if I'm hearing the same thing from everybody every time there's anything going on about infringement, it's like I think they know, and they're just running down the list of plausible deniability reasons, trying to delay or tire you out in the interaction so you just give up.
Yeah, maybe I'm not. Maybe I thought this person was stupid. Maybe I'm not giving them enough credit. All right, there we go. Enough of that. This episode has been sponsored by Fracture. Now, this is a great service. You get your pictures literally printed onto pieces of glass for display in your home or your office, wherever else you want to, look at pictures. All sorts of sizes are available, and I really recommend their website for some nice shots and video about how it all works. They obviously explain it way better than I will. Now, we've been talking long enough about these guys that some of you have cottoned on to how cool they are and are getting your own pictures fractured. And as is the way of the world, some of you have been emailing us the results. I was particularly impressed by one from Jake, who had some really nice family shots done. They caught my eye because Jake was wearing a Liverpool Football Club shirt. That always earns an enthusiastic reply. But they looked really good. You also might remember Derek, the skydiver from a previous podcast. That's Derek, not Dirk Derek. Well, he takes awesome freefall photos, and he told me that he's now sent off to have one of them fractured and I guess put up on the wall or something like that. I told him when he does, what he should do is take the fractured picture up on a skydive with it and sort of hold it up as he falls, and then get that picture fractured. So then he'll have like a fracture of a fracture. Some sort of photographic inception going on here. Now, if you've got pictures gathering virtual dust in your computer archives, why not get them out and have them on show? And this really is a brilliant way to do it. The website is fractureme.com. That's obviously where you can get them, but also learn all about how it works. It's really brilliant. And here's the important bit. The code HelloInternet, all one word, will get you 15% off your first order. 15%, that's the word Hello Internet. Use that code, fractureme.com. And our thanks to Fracture for supporting the podcast. Don't forget to send me your pictures when they're done. I've got something I'm really looking forward to, Gray. Things and jobs that people do while listening to the Hello Internet Podcast Corner.
Oh, you have more emails.
Oh, I've got loads. But I haven't got loads for you now. I'm just going to do a couple of quickies.
First of all, my most important question is, are they printed on paper right now? Oh, I think that the paper is a fundamental part of stuff people do while listening to the Podcast Corner. I really like the paper.
All right. You've got paper.
I wanted to set the mood before we talk about people's careers or other things they do, not just careers.
I saw a really funny comment either on Twitter or Reddit. I can't remember where and I can't remember who wrote it, so I'm sorry for not giving you a name check. But they were talking about last time's things people do while listening to Hello Internet Podcast Corner. Mm-hmm. You know how I built it up and said this is amazing, and you said, and you were worried it wasn't going to be amazing. Mm-hmm. They said as they were listening, they sort of thought to themselves or said out loud, if this job doesn't end up involving Barack Obama, I'm going to be disappointed. And sure enough, we delivered. Anyway, we haven't got anything quite so presidential this time, but I've got two quickies that I like. I've received many. I am keeping quite a few of them, and we'll do more and we'll talk about it more later, but we'll just do a couple of quickies now. This one comes from Emily, and it says, Dear Brady and Gray, I was listening to the most recent episodes at work today, and it occurred to me that you, especially Brady, might be interested in what I do. I'm a member of the operations team on the Cassini mission.
Cool.
I don't control the spacecraft directly, but I thought you'd both enjoy knowing that sometimes, somewhere in the world, there is someone listening to your podcasts while she designs observations for a camera orbiting Saturn. Love the show, Emily. I mean, Cassini is...
That's pretty good.
That's the glamour mission for me as well. I mean, that's the pretty boy space mission, isn't it? With all those great photos of Saturn. You can't go wrong.
That's a pretty good one.
Not bad.
I mean, all the space missions are cool,
Yeah.
but pictures of Saturn, is unusually photogenic for a planet.
Yeah. So there's Emily, obviously designing observations. I'd like to know more about what that means. Presumably she programs what way it's going to point and when to take all the pictures. But you can certainly email me again, Emily. You cannot email me too many times about what you do on the Cassini mission. I'd love to hear more. But that's a good one.
Tried.
Yeah, that is a very good one.
And I'll just do one more. This one comes from someone who sounds very Australian. It comes from Dave.
Mm-hmm.
Dave says, "G'day, fellas. First off, I'd like to tell Bradley, he, that I'm a fellow Adelaidean, but had to move for employment. However, as a kid, I did not find the Grenfell Centre the awe-inspiring piece of architectural grandeur that he did. I also have never heard anyone but him call it the Black Stump. That makes me think Dave might be younger than me, because it was only really famous when it was the tallest building, and when it was no longer the tallest building, it kind of fell into obscurity, but maybe, who knows? Anyway, let's hear about Dave's job, because that's where things get really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, but you always have to mention those Adelaide things.
Oh, yeah.
You love the Adelaide.
Big time.
Adelaide's like the secret keyword to getting through your email system.
You just saying that has reminded me of several other Adelaide emails I've received this week that I could talk about, but I won't.
Do you see? It's like it's a tight little cluster of Adelaide excitement in your brain.
Although my job may not seem the most exciting, well, think again, Dave, but here we go. I absolutely love it. I drive a fuel truck called an AB Quad in the outback, Western Australia. Western Australia is the biggest state of Australia. It's massive. My truck, fully loaded, can hold roughly 135,000 litres of fuel, diesel mainly, and a bit of petrol for servos in remote areas. Servos is what Australians call service stations or garages. This AB Quad truck that Dave drives is 53.5 metres long. It weighs around 165 tonnes loaded and has 86 tyres. The run I do is about 1,500 kilometres round trip from depot to the mine site towns. Obviously, there's a lot of mines in Western Australia, and he's obviously delivering all this diesel fuel to all the mines.
They're closer to each other than they are
Anyway,
to me, so they should
enough
fight each
about
other.
the truck. I cannot tell you how disappointed I was to read those words, because I could have heard about that truck forever. But anyway.
Yeah, my feeling is the same. Wait, but more about the truck.
No. We'll come back to the truck in a second.
All I'm thinking of listening to this is, this sounds like a truck to have in a Mad Max-style apocalyptic future.
I know.
Like, this guy's
I know.
prepared.
In Outback Australia, we're better for a Mad Max truck. Anyway, enough about the truck. I listen to your podcast on the 12-hour shifts I drive on the track. It was a good laugh hearing that people fall asleep during the podcast.